Hey guys, so today I want to do a purple look and I'm going to pull out my Petal Pusher palette. I think I'm going to mix it up today and first of all apply my NYX eyeshadow primer. I feel like most times I start off with my face primer and then my foundation, but I want to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to apply my eyeshadow base just down on my eyes and I'm blending it all the way up to my eyebrow. Just because I kind of have discolored eyelids today. I didn't get much sleep last night. I used to be able to stay up really late, but not so much anymore. I'm just blending this eyeshadow out and I'm using my Soho brush. You can just get these at Walmart. Basically I'm just using this light taupey shade and I'm filling in my eyebrows. Here's the difference between one eyebrow and the next. Going back into this palette with the same shade, I'm going to take it on that Soho brush that we took earlier and I'm just going to blend this back and forth into my crease. There's not really a nice transition shade in the Wet n Wild palette, so I'm going to go ahead and use the transition shade from this palette. I really love this transition shade. I'm going to go ahead and apply some face makeup just because I feel like I'm looking a little strange right now, so I'm going to take these two and I'm going to apply them as my primer. I'm going to mix a little of the Boots No. 7 Beautifully Matte Primer and I'm going to mix it in with this BB cream from Flower. I'm just going to take a little bit of the BB cream just because I want a little bit more coverage today because my skin is not looking the best. I had really good skin for months and months on end. It was really nice because that was around the time that I got married, so it was pretty nice. But of course, as soon as fall hit, my skin started to freak out again. I don't know if it's because I recently became vegetarian. I became a vegetarian like a month ago, and my skin is having like a freak out moment. I don't know what's going on, but I am not having very good skin lately, and it sucks because I was having such good skin for so long, and now it's back to looking awful. But oh well, hopefully I can figure out what's affecting my skin and I can get it back to how it was looking. Alright, so now that I got this all over my face, I'm going to go ahead and blend it out using one of my favorite brushes. This is the Real Techniques buffing brush. I really love this brush and I'm going to go ahead and buff this into my skin. As you can see, this BB cream is too light for me, but I will be putting a tiny bit of foundation on top. I just want this to kind of cover up those nasty acne marks and scarring that I have going on. So I'm just going to buff this in. And BB creams are really good if you do have acne marks or if you have a lot of hyperpigmentation to your skin. They're really good at covering up any of those flaws. So I'm going to make sure to blend this on. But yeah, it looks way too pale for me. I look like I'm trying to be a ghost right now. Right in time for Halloween, right? The tiniest bit of foundation just to warm up my skin tone and make it match the rest of my body. I don't want to add too much extra coverage, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this L'Oreal True Match in W4, and I'm not going to add too much coverage. I don't need too much more. I'm just going to basically dot this around my skin just to warm up my skin tone and make it match me a little bit better. But that BB cream did a really good job at covering up a lot of the acne marks that I have going on. So let's just warm up my skin tone a little bit. Lastly, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of concealer in the very inner corners of my eyes. I don't need to apply too much. Like I said, I don't want these products to cake up, but I do want to add a little bit of concealer just to make sure that there's no shadows underneath your eyes, which can make you look really tired and can just really aid you. I'm going to take my e.l.f. Kabuki brush and I'm going to take my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder, which you can see I'm almost done with. I'm going to take the tiniest bit of this, but I am going to press it onto my skin rather than buff, just because there are, you know, quite a few layers on my skin, and I don't want to move around the products too much because you can just end up rubbing it off, and you don't want to rub off all your hard work. So just make sure to press this onto your skin. You don't want to obviously put on too much product. You just want to apply a little tiny bit, because if you go too overboard, you can definitely cake up your face makeup. My skin is looking 100 times better. I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit before I apply any bronzer or anything. Like I said, I just want to make sure that it kind of sinks into my skin a little bit, because there are a lot of products on there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the eyes. I'm really excited to be using this palette again. I used this in one of my first tutorials ever on YouTube. I'm going to just take this lilac lavender shade first, and I'm going to take the e.l.f. Defining Eyeshadow Brush. I'm going to work this in my outer crease a little bit. I feel like my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil kind of creased up on my eyes, so I'm just going to blend it out with my finger just a tad bit more. This look is pretty cool tone, so I'm going to add a little bit of this mid-toned purple right there. And I'm going to, again, just take the e.l.f. Defining Eye Brush, and I'm going to, again, just blend this onto my eyelid. I'm going to blend this onto my outer corner of my eye. I'm going to place that down, and then I will blend it out with another brush in a second. I'm taking the 121 brush and I'm just blending this out a little bit. I'm trying to keep most of the darker pigment in the outer corner of my eye. It's like a reddish, coppery purple. I'm going to apply this again, just using e.l.f. Definer brush and keeping it mainly in the outer corner of my eye. And again, just taking that 121 brush and blending out that shade. I'm going to go back into that first shade that we used, which is that lilac lavender shade. Again, just using the 121 brush. And I'm just going to blend this out a little bit more, just because I feel like we lost this color a little bit. And I just want to make sure to blend out the edges of these colors, just because it is looking a tad bit harsh right now and I want it to be really blended. I'm going to go into that highlight shade using my Sonia Kashuk. I think this is the flat shader brush, and I'm just going to pack on that pigment underneath my brow bone. Then using the same highlight shade and the same brush, I'm also going to just pack this on my lid right underneath my crease, trying to prevent any of this color getting into my crease, but if a little bit gets on there, that's okay, because I will blend it out once more. Just gonna take that 121 brush, blend that out a little bit just to make sure it doesn't look harsh and to make sure that the edges are clean. There we go. And then I feel like there's not a really nice highlight for the inner corner in this palette unless you want to go for the same highlight shade that we used underneath our brow bone. But I kind of want to use something different just because this one's a little bit more pink toned. So I'm going to go for this one in the palette, which is more like yellow toned. I just think that will open up the eyes a little bit nicer than the pink shade. And I'm just going to pat this on. think this is one of the prettiest shades in the world when it comes to purples. I'm going to take this, and this one is called Babe. That's a cute name. And I'm just taking a tiny bit of that Babe shade, and I'm drawing this on my lash line, just in my outer corner. I'm gonna put some more. Then I'm going to slightly do a flick. I don't want to do winged eyeliner today, so I'm just going to create a flick with this shadow, and then I'm slightly going to blend it out, going towards the inner corner of my eye. I feel like that Babe shade just drew out the purples a little bit more, but in a very subtle way, which is nice. I'm going to go back into this palette, and I'm just going to take that first shade that we used and this shade. I'm just going to mix them together on that first brush that we used, which is the Soho brush. I'm just going to pack a little bit of those two shades on. Like I said, I don't feel like using any eyeliner on the top of my lid. I feel like leaving that bare because I think it will look really pretty, but I'm going to take a little bit of this Wet n Wild Noir brow and eyeliner. And I'm going to take a little bit of it on my lower waterline as well. But I'm just going to leave it in the outer corner. I'm not going to drag it all the way in towards the inner corner of my eye, just because I do want to leave my eyes quite open. And then of course it's time for mascara. This one is L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. I really warm up my skin tone to contour just a tiny bit as well. Petal Kiss, this is one of the flower lipsticks. Tiny bit of bronzer, and I'm just going to apply it on. Alright, thank you all so much. I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.